What is going on? I'm zmoT. We will get to some warships in a little bit. Going to be a slightly longer video than usual. Waiting 54 minutes for that next chest, which is going to jump us in to that next engine room. But first, what we're going to do is jump into some warships. Just a reminder, even if you're not playing warships, do jump into there, grab those free diamonds and free trader tickets. They make all the difference in the world. Speaking of all the difference in the world, this has been a crazy good, crazy productive week for me. New cabling on my desk, making all of the things, got rid of all my cabling issues, drastically simplified things. Super duper excited. It's okay. So War Factory, we've got a mess. This is a complete and utter mess for low levels, and for max levels you actually have to do something. The fact that there's 6 shields back there, 4 shields up here, you can't just barrage the core. That is a great thing in my opinion. We're going to go to the right. I'm going to get rid of that, and that. Then we should be able to just cruise over on that right hand side. This laser right here is where you're going to want to spend all of your gunboat energy. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a problem. This laser also going to be a bit of a problem. So lots and lots of grapplers behind the core. Don't just come down into this area expecting to be able to burn that core, because those grapplers are going to grapple more troops than you would like them to. So we are going to start out just like this. Now, if you're wondering why I'm sending Everspark so far to the right, I want nothing, absolutely nothing to do with that shock blaster. Everspark, oh, she stood right on the edge. I could have saved myself a smoke. So already wasting some gunboat energy, and we don't have a ton of gunboat energy to start with. So we are going to go like that. Staying the heck away from that shock blaster was my primary goal. Now, Everspark is going to stay underneath this smoke. I am not quite sure if we're going to be able to pull this off or not. It's going to be so close to not having enough gunboat energy. So I'm going to flare up to there, and Everspark's probably not going to make it out, not going to make it alive, but cannons don't shoot super fast, so maybe, she almost made it. So that extra smoke at shore definitely cost us. That was not a great thing, but we managed to get 2 high-value targets, so I'm not going to complain all that much. And maybe someone out there has less GBE than me, so maybe that's helpful. Anyways, let's keep going. We are going to go get that shock launcher, and then after that, it's just going to be Barrage City. So we're going to send Everspark over into here, throw in that first smoke somewhere about there, and see how she pops in, then pops back out, and then she's going to go back under, getting her running toward that back shock launcher. Only going to use 2 smokes. If she pops her head out, that's okay. It's going to be, look at that. We are just putting her right on the very, very precipice of that smoke. I don't know if precipice actually works, because I don't think you can fall. Anyways, Everspark getting that shock launcher dead, and now we're just going to use all sorts of gunboat energy. We do not have the tribes, so don't have all sorts of gunboat energy, but have some. Getting those barrages, artilleries out there. Got that laser. Health fairly low. We're now going to drop... What do we need? We need 3 chests, so we should be able to drop 1 boat of zookas over here. And I say this every single time, but if you're wondering why the heck I keep not using troops and keep retreating, trying to keep our losses to an absolute minimum so that anyone out there can copy this, whether you have instant training or not. Now that that is done, we are just going to wait for this final chest to explode, then we're going to retreat right about now, saving all of our troops, all of our diamonds, all of our gold, trying to take this thing down as easily as we possibly can. Next up, we are going to switch to Critter Swarm. Now, I probably should have some boats of riflemen loaded, but did not plan that in advance. So that laser is basically dead. And now what we're going to do is we're going to move over, way over. Can we get in that corner? Yes, we can. So we're going to go something like this. Everspark is going to hopefully not drop critters quite yet, because that laser on that left-hand side definitely concerns me. And now down goes the laser, I hope. Oh man, 3 artillery to do 8,000 damage. That's when you know you are a low level player. And then next up, we're just going to get all of our gunboat energy on this laser right about here, because you know it's going to be a problem once we get towards that core. That way Everspark can keep sending these critters out. Critters dying instead of our troops, super, super useful. Now, once things start to get a bit more expensive, we have the option of simply retreating, because those Doom Cannons and those Grapplers are going to cause all sorts of problems for our troops. Don't have to finish the base on this attack, but the closer we can get, the better off we're going to be. So, moving slightly over so those Grapplers keep hitting those critters, and then just pushing on forward. We have not lost a lot of troops, but we are going to start losing a lot fairly soon. Everspark's critters just can't keep up with all of the Grapplers and all of the cannons and all of, especially not all of the Doom Cannons. So we're going to start throwing some shocks in here, getting those sniper towers and Doom Cannons, because they do way, way, way more damage than all of the cannons combined. So now that we're getting that laser gone, and I know a lot of you are thinking that laser's probably a waste of our gunboat energy, but it just has to go. Otherwise, what's going to happen is we're going to get towards the core, and we're just going to lose all of our troops, and we definitely, definitely don't want that to happen. So I am not going to retreat. We are going to use every single one of our troops and just let them get as far as they possibly can. We've got that laser down there on life support, so should be able to cruise through all of this stuff. Here comes our next shock, getting as many buildings as we possibly can, because those Doom Cannons are just a complete and utter pain in the butt. Now, Everspark has been pulled by the Grapplers. Thankfully, her critters are still keeping her alive somehow, some way. As soon as she dies, our troops are just going to get obliterated by all of the things. So we have put a massive, massive dent in this. Now, you might want to consider using one boat of riflemen, which are going to keep even more of your zookas alive. And why you want your zookas alive is they're going to give all sorts of damage. One quick update on speaking of that huge, huge productive week I just had, new zmoT World Headquarters construction was started and almost completed this week. Super stoked on a new office for me, moving downstairs where it's going to be way, way quieter, way, way more remote. So that is the big news for me. Super, super excited. Do we have any troops left? No. There we go. Attack number 3 now. I thought that was number 4, to be completely honest. We're using 10% of our diamonds here. If you are going to be using instant training, second build, or whatever the heck it might be, even getting some diamonds, please consider throwing code zmoT in your box, even if you're doing nothing, just for the warm fuzzies. Do not have to spend a dime to give me that warm, fuzzy feeling. That Supercell creator code, even if you don't put my name in there, please do consider putting someone's name in there. The smaller the creator, the better. Don't go throw some 4 million subscriber person in there, please, because that is just insane. Anyways, I probably would piss off a large creator to hear that, but anyways, moving on in. Let's get rid of that laser. Don't forget about that. That would have been a bad scene, and now we're just going to hopefully be able to shock all of the things. Everspark, Everspark not where we want her to be. We're going to back her off because that Grappler managed to grab her. Too late. That was an awful, that was just not good. That is going to cost us so many troops, that mistake. So do not make that mistake, my friends. Otherwise, you are going to be absolutely hating life. We are going to lose so many zookas, and it's going to be super, super obvious just how amazing Everspark and all her critters are, as these Doom Cannons just eat up our troops. And that is why I like to do the core hit as early as possible. That way you know once you screw up, you've got an extra attack to save the day. So barely getting an extra shock. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to flare that Doom Cannon, sending all of our troops towards that Doom Cannon, because as soon as it comes unshocked, we are just absolutely done for. Doom Cannons can kill up to 120 12 zookas in one blast if you let them get super, super tight. Rarely does that happen, but same thing with boom mines. The splash damage by boom mines and boom cannons and doom cannons, not boom cannons, but doom cannons, can just do so much damage. It is insane when you watch a replay and see like 12 tanks get taken by one boom mine. You might be asking if that can actually happen. Yes, it definitely can. We're going to come way wide. I'm going to throw all sorts of critters out nice and early, and now we should be all done except for the crying. We're going to get all of our troops in here. We're going to shock that doom cannon really early. And now I'm going to throw a barrage onto there, throw one more shock onto that doom cannon, and now we've got this entire right-hand side cleared out. Those mortars are going to be a bit of a concern, but nothing that we can't handle because we've got lots and lots of critters at our disposal. So I'm going to get rid of maybe one more mortar simply because our troops are already in position, and now we're going to throw one more shock, and as soon as that mortar's down, we just we're out of, there we go. Now we're going to back the heck up. That way we're going to be out of range of that shock blaster and that doom cannon and all of those mortars. Free snipe. This War Factory was not an easy one for low levels. The extra shields, the grapplers, the doom cannons, the lasers. And I know a lot of you are still thinking those lasers maybe didn't need to go, but they would have ranged the core, and those critters right there would have drawn the laser fire right through our zookas, and it would have made for a lot of crying. So ignore my suggestion at your peril. I think those lasers really needed to go. The fact that that shock blaster is shooting our lasers and shooting our critters and it's farther away than that laser means that the laser would be shooting very close to our troops. Might have been able to avoid its range, but I don't want to play with fire in that instance. So there goes the War Factory. 12 minutes to take down War Factory on low level. That is a ridiculously long set of attacks. So we will jump in on a max level account. Actually, I'm going to save the warships stuff for another video because that is just too long. So I will pause right about here. We'll be back in like 4 shakes of a lamb's tail. Okay, back in action. What troops we're going to use? I don't really have any plan. I've got all bombardiers loaded from the red line open. Maybe we should use all, you know what? All those grapplers are going to be so incredibly frustrating. I don't really have a plan. Probably should just go to the right with all sorts of bomb. Let's just do that. I'm going to bring all sorts of riflemen. We are just going to walk up that right-hand side. I am going to bring Everspark, and we'll just see how far we can go using Everspark. Maybe we'll throw in a couple boats of zookas just because, and we'll just do a mishmash, walk up that right-hand side with no smoke, just out of curiosity. I don't have any plans or hopes or dreams for how far this goes, but I'm also very curious to see how far we can actually take this. So all sorts of GBE tribes making things very easy on us, and now we're just going to drop all of our troops over into here, and then I'm going to send all of our troops into there, and we'll shock last second. Getting that shock launcher down should be no big deal. Should only require 1 shock. I really hope. And then we should be able to just back our troops into this corner, let our zookas get all of those critters cleared out, and then we'll just get moving forwards. So getting rid of the rocket launcher with GBE, definitely a requirement. And now at this point, probably should have used Kavan if we were going to go on the offensive without shocking that shock launcher. We have no healing, and with grapplers, you probably don't want healing anyways, because the healers, whether it be Kavan or medics, will just follow all of the troops across those grapplers, and it's just not going to be a good place to be. So as soon as that shock launcher goes down, right about now, we're going to move up into here. All sorts of critters keeping our troops alive. We have still all of our zookas. We still have all of our Gramps, all of our bombardiers, and we're just cruising on forwards. No big deal whatsoever. riflemen and critters, keeping everything happy and healthy and alive. I haven't even used Critter Swarm yet, and parents, if you're watching for some crazy reason, will be very happy to see that I finally used that Critter Swarm, because I am awful at using Critter Swarm. I'm not entirely sure why it is, but I just always forget to use it. So now that we're getting close, I'm going to switch my shock so that we're shocking those lasers, because otherwise we're just going to get pummeled by all of the lasers. Cruising on in. We're going to throw some critters back here. See how those lasers are starting to fire? Not a good place to be. Everspark's critters keeping all of our dudes alive. Just so ridiculous how much power a max level player has compared to that low level player. Now those lasers are shooting somewhere through most of our troops. Bombardier's going to be farther spread out than our zookas, so that should be okay as far as keeping our troops alive. Are we going to pull off some... It looks like we might just pull off some sort of ridiculous solo. Not going to say for sure yet, but it kind of looks that way. So some ridiculous number of buildings have been destroyed by our troops. All those cannons, all those shock launchers, rocket launchers, doom cannons, grapplers, and we are just crushing our way towards the core without using smoke, without using any sort of advanced tactics. Down goes the core, the headquarters, whatever the heck the word for that is. Anyways, still doing War Factory after all these years. The views are at an all-time low for War Factory, partially due to people not giving a crap about it. Also, my time zone and probably my grumpy demeanor of late. Nonetheless, that is War Factory for you guys. Hopefully it helps you out, gives you a hint, or at the very least gives you some form of entertainment or insight into what is happening at the zmoT HQ. New wiring, new desk cabling. I love getting my cables nice and tidy. Also, new cabling after all this years. Super simplified. And more importantly, new office space coming. Really stoked. Not a big build, just cutting a playroom in half. Half playroom, half office. All sorts of free diamonds off the archipelago. Anyways, my rambling is done for the day. Hopefully this video has helped you in some way. We've already gone over that. Please hit me up in the comments. Let me know how you took down the War Factory, which troops you used, and if you managed to take it down for the first time, I will be absolutely blown away, because that is a tough War Factory. As always, thanks for coming in. I'm zmoT. Peace.